You're listening to CherryPickin Entertainment.
Throw me the ball and watch what I do with it.
You are now tuned into the CherryPickin podcast with your host, Andre Cherry.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into the CherryPickin podcast. I'm your host, Andre Cherry, and we're back for another week of college football fun. Thank you for downloading this episode. Thank you for following me. Thank you for being a friend, as always. We are now headed into Week 5 action of the college football season. Week 4 was nuts. There was a lot of games that I was watching with strong interest that didn't necessarily end the way that I thought they would. I'm looking at NC State versus Duke. I'm looking at Illinois versus Indiana. Both of those games ended up in heartbreak for myself and my friends that follow Illinois, certainly. But NC State certainly is a team that, while I didn't have high expectations of this season, they had been playing very well. And they had a heartbreaking loss to Duke this past weekend, so that was devastating. But college football just fills you with all these emotions week in and week out. And it's so much fun. I wish the season were longer. It's crazy that we're already in Week 5, but we are here now, and I cannot wait to get into this podcast episode with you. I do apologize that I didn't release a podcast last week. Life has been lifing lately. I've been like crazy busy with work and just other obligations, in my personal life with my family. It's hard to do this week in and week out. And I know I only do a short podcast each week, so it shouldn't be that hard. But man, my work keeps me incredibly busy during the week. I just didn't have the time to dedicate to the podcast last weekend. So my apologies there, but I'm excited for this podcast episode. I hope you are too. I want to start this podcast off with just asking a question like, what is going on with Oklahoma State? Does anybody out there know what in the world is happening with Oklahoma State right now? It's a sad decline that we've been witnessing over the last, you can even say last season was a start of the decline, and it's still continuing into this season. We are now, a few weeks into the season, and it's not looking like it's getting any better for Oklahoma State. It's not looking like there are any answers, and I don't know what is going on with Mike Gundy. His team doesn't look like they used to. I mean, offensively, Oklahoma State has one of the best offenses in college football within the last decade, at least. Mike Gundy has really been at the controls of that, and this team just is a shell of its former self. I was looking up, what is the buyout for Mike Gundy if Oklahoma State decided to part ways with the legendary college football coach? I mean, this guy is one of the most winningest coaches in college football today. And the fact that he is struggling like this, it just doesn't look as if he has the answers. I guess he had renegotiated his contract after last year's struggles, so he would get paid $15 million if he's terminated without cause before December 31st, 2027. And that's actually pretty cheap. If you think about the money that's circulating around college football these days and the money that these programs have, especially a program like Oklahoma State, $15 million is chump change. Seriously. So if they were going to make a change, they probably are thinking about that right now. I don't know if they would let him go during the season. I feel like he's a coach that has had great success at Oklahoma State. I mean, he's been the guy there for a long time. And what he's done at Oklahoma State has been really incredible. In his span since he's been there, since back to 2005, in that span, he has gone 12-6 in bowl games. He won the Fiesta Bowl twice. I mean, this guy has put together some great memories, some great sound bites. But the fact that they're struggling this way, it just doesn't look like he's got the answers. And maybe he's tired. I mean, I don't know. But $15 million is not much money for a program to just be like, you know what, why don't we just send Mike on his way? But I think they won't fire him during the season. If I'm just seeing everything that he's done in that program's history, I feel as if you got to give him an out. So whether he comes out and says, you know what, I'm going to just pack it in, I'm going to, hand it over to the interim coach. It's been a great run. I think they've got to go that route. instead of just outright firing him, because I feel like he has done so much for college football, so much for Oklahoma State. You can't do him dirty like that and just let him go at the fifth game of the season. But I just feel as if there probably is a change coming. And maybe that's at the end of this season. Maybe Mike Gundy decides to leave, but I don't know optically how that looks. One of the most winningest coaches in college football history just gets fired during the season. I don't know, but I don't know how bad it could get. The Baylor is their next matchup here. So we'll see, maybe things will change after that game. Maybe they have a blowout loss and Oklahoma State's like, we got to get rid of him right now because it's not helping anything. Then we'll see. But I wonder what's going on with Oklahoma State. I also wonder what's going on with Clemson. Like Dabo Swinney is also the guy, and he's done great things for Clemson. He's restored that program because for a long time, in my history of growing up watching ACC football, Clemson was like a Wake Forest. But like that team has made leaps and bounds improvement since Dabo Swinney has been there. So you got to give him his props and his credit for that. Dabo's been kind of old school in terms of his mentality around NIL, and I think that's come around. I believe Clemson has started paying athletes directly beginning in like July of this past year. So I think the program has turned away from its original kind of standing of like not really getting down with the NIL. I feel like you have to get down with the NIL because that's the way things work nowadays. And I know Dabo's got some kind of old school thoughts about, not paying players because that changes the game. It alters just the whole intent of college football and just like what makes it special. I get that. And, he's not quite wrong there. Like, I do believe athletes should get paid. I can tell you I didn't realize they were going to get paid like millions of dollars, which is crazy. But that's the going rate for college athletics these days in college football, in the Power 5, Power 4. Like, these kids deserve to get their fair share. I think that's fair. But I don't know what is going on with Clemson. They were preseason favorites out of the ACC to go to the playoffs and make a run, but this team looks like a pretender. Like, they look pretty bad. And I don't want to take away from Syracuse because I think Fran Brown is running an incredible program. He's an incredible young college football coach. He's the future of college football, but Dabo Swinney's just not looking. It's just not clicking there either. And he's got a long contract. I don't even think his contract ends until like 2031 or something like that. So it's just crazy all around in college football. I mean, these are programs that were solid staples in college football. Oklahoma State out of the Big 12, Clemson out of the ACC, and times are changing, which is probably good for the state of college football. But it's like, man, these guys used to be good for like at least a decade, and now they're slowly slipping out of being dominant, and it's sad. It's really sad to see. This past weekend, though, I did see a dominant team out of the SEC. I saw Oklahoma. They came to Temple a few weeks ago. I saw Temple play football for like a half, and then I left because it was pretty rough. I think Temple lost that game 43-3, and I was hoping that Temple would be able to come out. It'd be crazy if they upset Oklahoma. We all know that's not likely to happen. An SEC power coming into town. It's so rare that an SEC team comes out east to the East Coast. And certainly the schedule was set up well in advance years ago when Oklahoma was still in the Big 12. So maybe it made a little bit more sense. I don't think we'll see that again out of an SEC team to come up here to Philly to play an AAC team. So I had to jump at that opportunity. I got a ticket on StubHub. Maybe like $50, honestly, with taxes and everything and fees included. I think it was like $50 for the seat. I was 3 rows back off the 50-yard line. I was on the Temple sideline. Like, it was amazing view. It was hot as hell, though. The sun was beating down. I don't even know if I had a hat on. I think I had a hat on, but like I didn't have sunscreen on. I was burning up. It was so hot. Temple, they show support as much as they can. I mean, it's not like a normal college experience where the whole stadium's full. The Temple plays in the Eagle Stadium, so playing in an NFL stadium, They only allow them really to seat in the lower bowl. So nobody was seated up top. So the stadium was like half empty. Some people from Oklahoma who were sitting next to me, they were talking amongst themselves. Were like, man, is this... They're like, one, they couldn't believe that they got such great seats for the price they paid. They were like, if we were anywhere else, like, we would not be able to sit here. We'd be sitting like way, way up in the top rows of the stadium. And like, they just couldn't believe that they were seeing Oklahoma in Philly. And like, nobody was really there. There's probably more Oklahoma Sooner fans there. Nonetheless, I mean, it was pretty cool to see a rare game between Oklahoma and Temple, an SEC power, a team that's going to be pushing in the SEC this year. They may have a Heisman Trophy winner on the roster, John Mateer. I mean, the quarterback, he's playing very well through 4 weeks of football. He's right now the favorite to win the Heisman Trophy. If it were to end today, he would win the Heisman. And that's crazy. I saw him in Philly in my backyard. And like, the ticket was cheap, $50 to see a college football game. It was dope. It was fun. That's probably the closest I've ever been to the field at any event. If I were to go to the Eagles game for those same seats that I paid for, it would probably be like $600 to sit the 50-yard line, 3 rows back. That's crazy, man. That's insane. And so I'm glad I got to just, go out, step out. I was out there alone, saw the game, and I left at halftime, took the SEPTA back home, and that was a nice little start to my Saturday afternoon. My birthday is coming up this Monday, so tomorrow, on Monday, 9/22. It's my birthday. It's not a big one. I mean, I guess everyone is big, but it's not the big one. I'll be turning 39, God willing. And I'm excited to see another year of life, man. It's crazy how fast time just goes, especially when you have a child or children. Time just goes like extra fast. It's like 2 times fast forward when you have a child. And I feel like everything is just flying by. I'm noticing more grays in my beard, noticing more grays in my hair. And that's probably from life. Life is stressful. Having a family can be stressful at times. And honestly, like I said it before on this podcast, like this podcast gives me some peace. It's something I enjoy doing, Like I always wanted to do this professionally. Always wanted to do this stuff like for ESPN. As a kid, that's always the goal and the dream. But just having a place that I can just share my thoughts and release them out to the world. You never know who could be listening. And I'm grateful for like 1 follower or 1 listener. But it's just something I enjoy doing. And I just enjoy the process of researching, of recording, editing, and then publishing this podcast and promoting it. And it gives me a little piece of joy. Like, you have to find the little things that give you happiness, the little things that give you joy. And I know I'm not on the level of some of these guys that are out there doing this for a job and getting paid to do it. I would love to do that. But for now, this is all I've got. And so I enjoy doing this. And it's something, as a kid, I had a goal of like, man, it'd be cool to be on game day, or it'd be cool to talk college football. And for like the last 8 seasons of this podcast, I've been doing that. I've been living that dream. It doesn't look like I thought it would, but I'm still doing it. It's the act of doing it that's important. And I've done the blog and made predictions way, way before that. I mean, I've been doing this maybe a couple decades, just making predictions and, posting them online, and just for me, really. I mean, I'm doing it to see if I can, how good I am at picking games and picking winners. And, I'm not really gambling. It's not really a gambling podcast, but I just love talking. I love broadcast radio. I love podcasting. I love media. And I love college football. And so, like, I hope this inspires you in some way. I mean, if you're trying to find something that you love to do, just go ahead and do it. Just start. That's all that it takes is just starting. And then you'll find your way. So if I see 39 tomorrow, like, I'll be thrilled. I'll be excited. But I hope I can continue growing and continue doing the things that I like to do, and just becoming a more well-rounded person. So I'm excited for the birthday, certainly. And with that said, I'm excited to head back home to Illinois. I'm flying out this week to meet up with some college buddies, Joel and Devin. We went to ISU together. We did TV10 and WZND down at Illinois State University. And oddly enough, these guys are passionate Redbirds. Like, they love ISU Redbirds. They love the community down there. But they are also diehard Illinois fans. And that I'm still trying to wrap my head around. But they have season tickets to Illinois football. Like, they're huge Illinois fans. Way back when we were in college, I remember they loved Illinois. And so we had been talking over the years about, maybe trying to see a game together. And they came out here a couple years ago when Illinois played Rutgers. And I don't know why I wasn't thinking about maybe trying to meet up with them, closer to home. But they were like, yo, USC's on the schedule this year. It's homecoming. And I was like, you know what? It would be amazing to see USC play Illinois in football in Champaign, Illinois in the fall. Like, why not try to see this game, my birthday weekend, basically. We set up the plans, put everything in motion. So I'm flying out this week. Like, I'm excited to go out there, catch up with these guys. I don't think I've seen them since we graduated college, to be honest. And, I'll be 39 this year. So it's a good chance to just come home and go back and root on Illinois against USC. I love the USC marching band and that sound, their fight song. That's amazing. It gives me goosebumps. And Illinois didn't have the game that I thought they would have last night against Indiana. I was really hoping that Illinois would beat Indiana, that they'd still be undefeated. We'd have College Game Day out there this weekend. College Game Day has never been to Champaign, Illinois. It would have been special to be out there if that was the case. But Indiana smoked Illinois, and it was pretty humbling. I'm not going to lie. But it should still be a great time this weekend. Hopefully see some other friends that went to Illinois growing up at the game this weekend. So I'm excited to head home, excited to kind of break bread with people that I grew up with. And I'm looking forward to a nice little birthday week. So I say all that just to say thank you again for listening. And I can't wait for whatever's in store and whatever, awaits me in the future here. But certainly excited for the opportunity to grow old and to, have a little family and to do this podcast. I mean, all this stuff helps me out. So I just want to say thank y'all. Now, with that said, and with that behind us, I want to get into my top 5 locks within the Power 4 conferences for Week 5. Out of the ACC, I've got Syracuse and Duke. So Duke got lucky last week with a victory over NC State, especially when you consider that the Wolfpack were beating the Blue Devils by a couple touchdowns at one point. But turnovers allowed Duke to get back into the game to ultimately win the contest 45-33. Now, I don't believe Duke will get so lucky against a red-hot Syracuse team that is disciplined and well-coached by Camden, New Jersey's own Fran Brown. His Syracuse Orange went into Clemson on Saturday and dominated the entire game, always holding a comfortable lead over the Tigers. Fran Brown plays with an aggressiveness that will catch a lot of teams by surprise this season, and he's got a quote here, and it goes, and I quote, "I'm thankful we got a chance to beat Clemson, a blue blood in college football, but we got a long way to go," Fran Brown said. "I'm just happy for the community. I can't wait to get back and see the community party, having fun tonight, especially our college students on campus. I'm so excited to get back to Syracuse. Hopefully I can eat for free." End quote. And I know Steve Angeli is out for at least a couple weeks, but I still take Syracuse in this matchup over Duke. So I'm taking Syracuse over Duke out of the ACC. Then out of the Big Ten, we've got Indiana and Iowa facing off. Something about the way Indiana dominated Illinois last night has me thinking that they are on a mission to try and destroy all of the Big Ten competition this season to get back to glory again for a second straight season. Something that feels so unprecedented in Indiana's football history. It felt like everything Indiana did last night was right. The offense played extremely well, and the defense also dominated with 7 total sacks and 10 tackle for losses. On offense, the 1-2 punch of quarterback Fernando Mendoza, who's also a Heisman frontrunner as well this season right now through 5 weeks. He's coming off a 5-touchdown performance, while Kobe Martin, the running back, rushed for $107 on 12 carries, 2 touchdowns. These two are an absolute force this season, and for Iowa, they are really methodical with their game. It's not flashy or fun to watch at times, but it is effective. So far on the season, they are 3-1, and they've got a real path to bowl eligibility again. However, I think Indiana is too hot right now and is riding an incredible high after upsetting number 9 Illinois. I think the Hoosiers win, but Kirk Ferentz's defense won't give up 63 points the same way Illinois did last night. So I think it'll be probably within 2 touchdowns. But I'm taking Indiana over Iowa out of the Big Ten. Then out of the Big Ten, we've got USC and Illinois. I talked about it a little while ago. I'm headed out there to Champaign this weekend for homecoming. I'm hoping the weather is great. Like, there's no better feeling in the world than being in the Midwest during the fall. Like, that's the best place and time to be, in my opinion. I was really on the Illinois train up until last night when Indiana exposed Illinois as fraudsters. I was really hoping that USC and Illinois would both be undefeated headed into Week 5 action, headed into Illinois' homecoming this weekend, but I guess one out of the two ain't so bad. Illinois will be looking for some answers this week, especially on defense. Star DB Xavier Scott was out against Indiana due to an injury, as were 10 other players for Illinois. It also didn't help matters that Illinois' captain, DB Miles Scott, was also ejected from the game last night for a targeting call that actually looked like a really good clean tackle to me. Momentum wasn't on Illinois' side last night. I would love to see how Illinois bounces back from adversity, but I'm worried that their psyche is no good right now, and a red-hot USC will be tough to beat. Defense didn't look good last night, but the offense didn't look good either. On 20 rushing attempts, they were only able to gain 2 yards. The offensive line got pushed around as well, allowing 7 sacks and 10 tackle for losses. I really want to see how Brett rallies the troops this upcoming weekend against USC, a team that scores the second most points in all of FBS at 55 points per game. So Brett has his work cut out for him this week. How does the team respond? How does he get them ready? Like, I want to see how good of a coach Brett is. It's always fun and easy when you're playing teams that you can dominate. You've got great facilities, like you've got all the resources. Everything looks right on paper, but can Brett coach them up? Can Brett bounce this team back to where they should be? One loss won't kill you. At the end of the day, especially with the expanded playoff, one loss will not hurt you. But I thought that game against Indiana was one that they could have won. Honestly, I thought Illinois had it. I know injuries are tough, but now we got to see how they bounce back. We got to see what the coaching is like. Like, I really am curious to see this up close. But unfortunately for Illinois, I'm taking USC in this matchup. So I'm taking USC over Illinois. It should still be a lot of fun. I can't wait to have fun out there back in Champaign, Illinois. But out of the Big Ten, USC over the Fighting Illini. I am sorry, but I have to do it. Out of the Big 12, we got Baylor versus Oklahoma State. And I legitimately do not know what's going on down there in Stillwater. Like I said earlier, Oklahoma State is playing like garbage. An offense that used to be so fun to watch over the years is nowhere to be seen or found these days. Mike Gundy's Cowboys have been outscored 88 points to 15 points these last 2 games. They are 1-2, and Gundy may be coaching his last season in Stillwater this season if things don't turn around quickly. And even though Oklahoma State has won the last 11 home games against Baylor, I think the 2-2 Bears come in and blow the doors off of Oklahoma State. Things just aren't going well at all. If my stats are correct here, Oklahoma State has lost the last 13 straight games to FBS opponents, which is the longest in school history. If they lose against Baylor this weekend, I don't see a way how Mike Gundy survives this, whether it's he gets fired now or at the end of the season. He's probably in discussions right now to turn this program over to somebody else because this is abysmal. The team just isn't responding to his style these days, his style of coaching, and they're just a change may be good for both parties. It may be needed at this point. So for the Big 12, I'm taking Baylor over Oklahoma State. Then out of the SEC, we've got Bama and Georgia. A big-time matchup in the SEC with Bama heading into Athens this weekend to face the Georgia Bulldogs. Alabama has won 9 out of the last 10 games over Georgia and will be looking to make it 10 out of 11. This season, I think these two teams are both evenly matched despite Bama's Week 1 loss to Florida State, 31-17. And as an aside, I think FSU is really good this season and they are continuing to play ball like they will be one of the favorites from the ACC to make the playoffs this season. So that loss doesn't actually look so bad in hindsight for Alabama. All that really matters is this matchup against Georgia, and whoever wins this game will have an edge and an advantage to make the playoffs. Bama desperately needs a marquee win and can't afford to drop 2 losses if they hope to make it into the playoffs. They won't be in control of their destiny with 2 losses, and that should go without saying, especially considering how the committee kept them out of the playoffs last year with the 9-3 record. I think Georgia's defense has a slight edge over Alabama, but I think Bama's offense will be able to score points. This is truly a toss-up in my opinion, but I will take Alabama over Georgia in this matchup because I like the drama. So out of the SEC, I'm taking Bama over Georgia. So those are my top 5 picks for Week 5 action. Let me run those down for you one more time. Out of the ACC, I'm taking Syracuse over Duke. Out of the Big Ten, I'm taking Indiana over Iowa. Out of the Big Ten, I'm taking USC over Illinois. I'm sorry, friends. Out of the Big 12, I'm taking Baylor over OK State. And out of the SEC, I'm taking Bama over Georgia. So these are the picks for this week, the week of my upcoming birthday. I hope it's a great one. Every chance you get to wake up is a good one. And I feel like that old head that always says stuff like that. But like I remember people used to be like, you know, I'm above ground, I'm up, my eyes are open. I get a chance to make the day great. So like I'm kind of going with that mentality now, moving forward. If I see my birthday tomorrow, it'll be amazing. Hope to have a good birthday week with that said as well. I'm actually excited that I saw a Mike Gundy commercial. I know I've been talking about him a lot on this podcast. But like, there's a commercial that I saw the other day. I think it was for Consumer Cellular, where Mike Gundy, you know that sound clip.
Come after me! I'm a man! I'm 40! I'm not a kid!
There's a new sound clip. So he's pushed his age out even further. So he's now 56. So that makes me feel good. I'm 38. So being close to 40, that soundbite really kind of made me nervous. But now he's got a new one. It's refreshed. And I don't feel quite as bad about getting older.
I'm a man. I'm not 40. I'm 58.
I feel good is all I'm saying. I feel fresh. I feel ready. I feel healthy. I'm ready to seize the day. So thank you all for listening to this podcast. I hope you have a great week ahead. Hope you enjoy watching college football. Week 5 action is coming at us soon. Take care, everybody. Be safe, and I will talk to you soon. Be good, everybody. Take care. Peace.
I'm a man. I'm not 40. I'm 58.
Thank you again for tuning into my Cherry Pickin' podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please feel free to subscribe to my show and drop me a rating on Apple Podcasts. All of my digital content can be found at the website CherryPickinSports.com. And if you are looking to interact with me via social media, my Twitter handle is @Cherry_Pickin. That's PICKIN. On my Twitter, you'll also find a link to my blog where I post my weekly college football predictions and analysis. I can also be reached via email at cherrypickinsports@gmail.com. Please feel free to reach out to me regarding what you like about this podcast or about what content you'd like to hear more of on future episodes. I sincerely thank you for your support, and I can't wait to talk to you again soon. Take care.